The Bantrol system is not at war. Bantrol was never, until recently, a wealthy colony. The planet had resources enough just to maintain its own small society, but none worth exporting. There was never any need for the corporate sponsors of its initial colonization to interfere with its administration. In the halls of solar commerce, land shares on Bantrell traded for nothing, no loss, no gain. You might throw all of my land shares on Bantrol into your golf wager as a joke, or give them as a prank gift to a friend. Recently, though, there was a major development in obscure biochemically processing technology, and the novel features of Bantrol's ecosystem went from being a scientific curiosity to being an untapped and unknowably deep wellspring of wealth. Land shares on Bantrol are no longer ignored asterisks on anyone's balance sheet. The handover of administration and power from the descendants of Bantrol's original Terran colonists to the newly interested legal right holders, the self-proclaimed landowners, has been cheerful, orderly, and mutually profitable. There have been a few isolated spats, of course, but there's been practically no protracted, bitter, bloody war of resistance between the displaced old Bantresh aristocracy and the off-world landowners. When a landowner uses the threat of violence to force a hereditary great family to give up their land, keeping them on as guides and entertainers, it's cheerful. When they offer them in exchange a negligible sum, it's mutually profitable. And when a fiery company of Bantresh irregulars responds by raiding their holdings and seizing arms and materials against future battles, and local insurrectionists take advantage of the upset by forcibly occupying biochem processing facilities, and the landowners respond with ruthless crackdowns and martial law, these are a few isolated spats. To admit otherwise would be to invite the intervention of the Terran Transit Authority's mediation and peacekeeping forces. Then no one would get rich from Bantrol but the TTA.
There's this crunching of gears in the trash compactor. Bryn's standing on these catwalks while it operates with this long metal pole, just jabbing at the crunching sound with the pole from relative safety. But it doesn't seem to work, so she hits the emergency stop, takes out the safety pin, crawls down into the compactor, and she sees this metal skull. And moving away some of the trash, she also sees like a torso and a leg. And she grabs it by the shoulders and pulls it out. And the thing is sparking and its eyes are flashing. But it isn't able to move, it seems. So she looks at it and then she gets its power switch and power core and pulls out the power core. It shuts down. It takes a little bit of searching, but she finds the rest of the android's parts. And like, this is too much for a trash compactor. Ties it up, pulls it onto the catwalk where she was working, climbs back up, and gets the thing going again. A few hours later, we see her dragging this into her apartment. She's got, it's like really dark now because this is after the scene in the kitchen, and she is putting this whole thing into her room and starts, putting the pieces around to see what she's got. She gets this toolkit out and starts fiddling with the robot. It doesn't quite work when she's got it all together. Um, looking at like the limbs and stuff need motivators. So she goes out a little bit later, a couple hours later, comes back with some parts, some mech parts, and installs those into the android, and like puts on the arms, tries to boot it up, and it's still like doing the flashy-eyed thing. And she's got like a scanner. She plugs it in with a long, like flat cord, and it's like, oh, memory processors corrupted. All right. So she leaves again, comes back with this weird data stick. It's like, imagine like a USB drive with an LCD on the side. And she jams it into the android's brain and says, repairing boot sector. And goes beep, 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 and Bryn's going around cleaning up her room. She says, like, this is like the final stage. This is probably going to work. And we're watching the progress bar go up, and it fills up, and then it says, reprogram personality, yes/no. And we fade out on that.
We go from a place of different mech parts to the underwater Skyphos seascape again, like I've been doing in some of my other solitaires. There's, for anyone who needs a refresher, we see Labor Mecha pulling cargo through 3D space, perhaps down a diagonal, down to down and back out of a dark trench on the outskirts of Skyphos. And we see all of these cars and mechs following like a natural order, not defined quite like in our world by roadways and infrastructure, but just by like general know-how and the freedom of movement. Then we snap zoom in through a window into this lovely office space where we see Sash sitting down in this circular bench, which is perfectly mirrored to another bench where someone else is sitting, who is a blonde-haired man. And it seems like both of us are waiting for an administrative assistant to come back and take care of our problems and introduce us. It seems like this is maybe like a help desk or something. Someone does come back, and Sash waits for this opportune moment for Mr. Quincy to be called to the desk. And then as soon as Sash's name isn't called, Sash goes up right behind him and they tap him on the back of the shoulder and they say, "Hi, Alex, Morty, Quincy. I think I have a problem with you because you seem to think you can put my old crush against my new crush and just see who wins in that gladiatorial combat. And in doing so, seize the property of the people who own this very building. I don't think that's very nice. And I don't think you have the right. Your landowner who decides out of the blue you have loyalties to the revolutionaries And then from there, you decide to betray their aristocracy. Whose side are you on? I have a problem with you. This won't be the last you've heard of me, because I have all of your information in this very building. And I know that your comms address is still linked to your Peak Zenith employee address. And I know about the embezzlement that you've been evading. And I know you weren't arrested for that like the others were. So that's a talking to.
So I think we get a shot of Sash behind, like we see behind Sash, because we've gotten a lot of face shots, and we see a shot of Sash from behind, um, with Quincy in front of Sash, and in front of Quincy is a data slate that happens to have Ray's face on it, and then Ray's face fades into, like, transitions into Ray's actual face hidden behind a balaclava amid other members of his resistance group, also clad all in black with balaclavas on. They have assault rifles, and they're outside an unofficial Bantrish warehouse. Like, they're not supposed to have warehouses, but they still have warehouses and they still have stuff in them. And we see like a couple of hand signs. It's all very quiet. It's all very like covert ops. And we don't get any shots from inside of what happens. We see muzzle fire through the windows. We hear bodies as they hit the ground. Um, and then we see Ray backing out of there, um, using a flare to guide the stolen mech that they have apprehended. It's nobody's that we've seen before. It belongs to a night guard, but man, he's taking that. So we just see him just like guiding this mech out of this warehouse, and we see bodies on the ground. That's where we fade.
And from there, we cut across to a. In the distance, you see like a bullet train going by. And so we zoom in on that train, and there is an observation car where it's just windows all the way around. And we zoom into there, and inside we see Silver. And there is some local Bantresh noble droning on about the scenery. And Silver looks absolutely enthralled as we're going through, and there's huge, purple forests and like fjords for days, and just some unique vistas that you would not find anywhere else but Bantral. And as this train goes past, there's like a huge valley that is completely untamed. It's been untouched by civilization, and the train just passes close enough by that you can see up into the valley, or along into the valley, I guess you would say. Up, down, sideways. Both ways. And but we also see, like, in the background behind her, where she's like sitting up in front and kind of like excited looking with her glasses and staring out the window and paying attention to what this guy is saying. Seated behind her are the faces of the people that we've seen her recruiting as the time has gone by. There is a woman with like a bob cut hair, blonde, she's like filing her nails. There's a one guy is like balancing on the back of the chairs instead of paying attention to what's going on outside. One of them is looking over some like schematics on a handheld. Well, I guess it's projected from his peak zenith ring. There's another woman who's just folding origami instead of listening or paying attention to it. Basically, everyone she's hired, she's taken on this little tour, and she is absolutely enthralled, and they are just along for the ride. And that will bring us back to Bryn.
All right. Sash, would you like to join me in an asynchronous tactical duel?
That sounds interesting, but only if it's a hack of a tactical skirmish.
I'm into it.
Excellent.
So we gotta start by determining who the attacker is, just like a normal tactical skirmish. So I think we agreed I'm probably unconscious. I don't feel like that's very aggressive.
So let's say what both of our sides. Let's establish what's happening on both of our sides.
Yeah, okay. Bryn is basically laying unconscious. She's very badly injured. We see one of the security guys actually like flip her over with a stick because it's too disgusting. And they're doing triage, so they're picking out who the most important people are and helping them first. Members of nobility, VIPs, and Bryn's none of those. Even if Sash had known she was in the crowd, she wouldn't have put her name on the list. So she doesn't have her amulet. The amulet's been knocked around, it's underneath some kind of debris, and her mask is probably flying away in the wind.
Yeah. As for Sash, in the very same event, they got they were charging up a plasma shot, which then missed, but and they were hiding in the ruined remains of Bryn's mobile frame for cover. But what they didn't know was that the mobile frame was about to warp mid-match. And that's what happened. And it caught Sash totally by surprise. And now they're in a mech hangar somewhere else entirely. Very confused.
Or are you?
Yeah, we'll see.
So I'm going to have 6 soldiers.
Cool. I think I have 6
They're going to
doctors.
be basically soldiers, and you're going to have doctors.
Mhm.
My objectives are to come out of this unscarred and to keep Sash from learning my secrets.
Cool. I want to escape this hangar and I want to know where this place is so I can come back here later if I want to.
Okay. Cool. All right, are you okay being the attacker?
Sure.
Then you make the first demand.
Cool. There are some of these that I want to do later that I think are more fitting later, and then there are some of these that I think are a little bit more fitting at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I think the one that I'm at least most interested in first is let's go with the scary gory one first. So the reason on Twitter this got a content warning is because my questions involve stuff revolving around hospitalization. So if you have issues with hospitalization in general, that's what all my questions involve in some way or another. Right now, I'm going to make my first demand, which is the harshest, and then I'm going to go to the ones that are not as scary and disturbing.
All right.
So, the shrapnel of your mobile frame followed the wake of the explosion. Notice a quirk of Sash's mobile frame just before it warps. Protect your rib cage by breaking something in the impact, which Jackson, the first responder, pulls out of your jacket in pieces, or stabilize.
Oh,
So
I'm
that's
gonna
pretty
take I'm gonna take some shrapnel damage. Do I determine what the secret is, or do you?
You
What
determine the
else about
secret.
your mech? Okay. Yeah, Bryn notices that your power converters are illegal.
That makes a lot of sense because
Yeah, they're super illegal. You shouldn't be doing that. But those plasma arcs that can cut through my indestructible mech, no. Those
and we
aren't
noticed
legal.
in the huge mech battle that Sash's mech is tiny. And the reason that Sash's mech has that much power is because it really shouldn't.
It really shouldn't.
Yeah.
All right. I'll ask my question. First question.
Mhm.
Submit now or choose. You knew all along about this secret extra-dimensional hangar base because your family, your noble house, is the one that's been protecting Bryn. And therefore, you're ready and you can shoot Lieutenant Dharma, my mech bay operator, before she sounds the alarm, or abandon your mech before it's trapped in a stasis field. You basically have three choices the way I wrote them.
Right. I am going to say that the Marinasa house has been trying to protect you because I feel like that makes certain things that I want to narrate easier. So I'm going to shoot ahead.
I'm working dead next to Lieutenant Dharma. She was really nice and funny. Was a really good person to have drinks with.
Mm-hmm.
Now she's dead. All right, your turn.
Okay. This is the other one that I was sort of interested in starting with at the beginning. You lost the locket that controls your mobile frame. Reese, the intern, looks in a few places. Which places are they? Like, which places would he think to look? Bryn prioritizes their steel body over their own body made of flesh. What does that feel like? Or you stabilize.
Okay. So you're asking me where they looked for my locket?
Yep.
And what pieces I get replaced? Okay.
Say that last part one more time.
And what pieces of my body get replaced?
No, that's not what I mean in the second one.
Okay,
the
I
second
gotcha.
one,
I don't understand.
in the second one, I mean, you need to show me how Bryn prioritizes helping Reese look for the locket over like getting better over time.
Okay.
So I'm
I think,
imagining you're having like lucid moments, and you might be spending all those lucid moments trying to help
okay.
Reese find the locket instead of actually getting rest.
I think like semi-lucid. Like she wouldn't be helping anybody find out that locket. So she keeps like saying the place she was. Like who was next to her. And like there was a very tall lamp. I was standing under the tall lamp, and there's like electrical burns all over her body. So when the lamp got knocked over, the power cord got her. That may actually give you 4. So she mentions the people she was with, so
Yep.
they can look at where those people were, and get an idea of where she was. Mentions the lamp, so you can look underneath the lamp, see if it got stuck underneath there. You can look in the gutter. There's probably like wastewater drains because this whole place is artificial, and there's still going to be like condensation constantly dripping. Everything's going to be wet. So check the drain where she was nearby, and then there was a raised platform for the mosh pit she was standing by, and that was like placed there on springs, so maybe it went underneath the mosh pit.
Mm-hmm. I think Reese mentions that a lot of the Macarena was reduced to rubble, which it had to be pulled out from. And he says that some things are getting pulled out from the rubble still. And I think he like Reese is kind of young, so I feel like he starts deferring to some of the other nurses in the room, and he says, "Can you give me the number of the first responders and the people who are still looking in the wreckage?" And he starts trying to like give them the information that you gave him.
I think at the end, like Bryn can't like make out complex sentences anymore, and she's just like pointing in one direction. Like it's not clear how she knows what direction, but she starts pointing, and I think she passes out.
It's just the knowing. Yeah. Cool. What's your demand?
All right. All right, you blasted through the Lieutenant Dharma and made it into the Mech Bay operations area. You're able to lift yourself up with your mech so you can climb in. There are screens everywhere. You can choose to vent Yayoi, my pilot, out into space before she notices you and takes the the ship out of this weird place it's in, or you can try and reason with her and figure out what's going on.
Or submit.
Actually, you have to choose to withdraw if you don't want to do that.
Okay, cool. Interesting. I think I want to reason with her.
Okay. How do you reason with her? She's just saying to get off my damn ship, intruder, before I unfreeze the rest of the crew.
I think inside the cockpit, Sash unplugs, like they start rerouting from their from the loudspeakers on their mask to route that to the loudspeakers on the mech so that they can communicate. And I think they start making like surrender motions, like putting their hands up and saying, that's exactly what I'm trying to do, but I got warped here unsolicited. Can you help me find a way out?
There's no way out of here, kid. This isn't space, this is phase space. The only way out is to get warped out.
Well, I'm happy to be warped out, but how do we do that?
Shit. Get back in your mech. I'll come down there and I'll warp you back.
That would be very helpful. Thank you.
All right. So do you get back in your mech and does she come back and warp you back?
Yeah, I think so. Because I didn't get quite like exactly what I want, like, but all of the warping stuff that happened during the match was like weird warp signatures that couldn't be recognized anyway. So knowing that it's not warping to another point in space, at least narrows things down.
Okay. So are you getting back in your mech? I think we'll just leave it there. You're getting back in your mech. You see this this girl in like a pilot outfit with big pigtails for some reason. Comes from the pilot's seat. You see the right door. There's like probably like a long room that runs across the mech bay, but it's up high, like one of those warehouse observation rooms.
Mm-hmm.
She comes in the right door with a little pistol, sees you in the mech, and then she starts like typing at a control pad. All right. So we'll go next turn. Maybe you won't get teleported away. We'll find out.
Okay, cool. Here's something I want to know that kind of goes with what you were talking about. You're teetering on consciousness before surgery and you hear the sounds of a telephone. Mumble something about the man with the knife that you've been talking about. Hear what Sash's brother Amphi thinks that Sash would be up to in a situation like this. Or wake up.
There's 2 or 3 options again.
There are 3 options.
Okay. Let's go with option 2, the one where I hear something about Sash.
Okay. So you have to tell me what Amphi's chit-chatting about and thinks that Sash would be into in the midst of a disaster where their body wasn't found.
Yeah. And I think Bryn actually hears that Sasha's trying to, infiltrate the secret base, right? Because we know now that Sash knew about it. She didn't know how to get there. Um, and but Bryn can't do anything about it. It's just going to be something she recalls later in like a dream.
Cool.
All right.
So now Amphi's down because he doesn't know what's going on.
Wait, is he dead? No.
No,
He's
just done what he
doesn't know
can.
what's going on. Yeah, okay. Choose between getting lost on the way to your mech and finding out what happened to the man with the knife, or revealing that you have a way to overcome the strange face distortion inside the mech bay, or choose to withdraw.
I think in this situation, Sash needs to know how to protect you. So if I pick the first option, I have to say, I have to tell you what the man with the knife is all about, right? By Sash finding out.
I was going to tell you.
Okay. Either way.
Yeah, because I gotta tell you my secrets. Some of the secrets I want you to define, and some of them I want to define.
Okay, sounds great.
So you try and go back to your mech, but space in the mech bay and this entire base is warped. Like you're like walking, you're like, like time is fluctuating and space is not linear. You try and step back onto this glowing platform where all the mechs are. But you find yourself in another hallway and you hear like echoes that seem to be coming from different places and different loudnesses. You come to a room with two armed guards in front of it, but they're not moving, and there's these like white discs above them, and they're like in these pillars of light, and you can just choose to disturb them or not. But inside the room they're guarding, you see the man with a knife, and he's just floating there like in free fall with his arms out, and the knife is floating next to him. He doesn't look injured, but he's like frozen in time and space.
Fascinating. I'm sure Sash, seeing the guards not moving, is like they're trying to like acclimate at least somewhat to the spatial distortion. And I think they're kind of like, are they moving and I just can't see it? Or are they not moving and just standing guard? And the Sash is in their cockpit like putting the mobile frame on autopilot just because, which is a thing that Sash doesn't normally do, because I feel like they like the tactility most of the time, but they just really can't deal with this.
Do you want to shoot one of the guards?
I would not, because I assume they're like for Bryn's benefit.
Okay. Are you asking me a question, I guess?
Yeah. I'm gonna ask the fun one. Your arm was smashed in the accident. Consent to bionic replacements at some point in your history, or remind head surgeon Liz of the operation where Sash got their bionic audio jack installations in their arm.
All right.
Or wake up.
I got some bionics, I guess. Who's paying for these?
I think it's Sash
Okay.
or their family.
Yeah. I think she has agreed to bionic replacements. I think she loses her arm. And I think that it could get more extreme. But are you going to pay extra to replace like bone in the hip and like a lung with like regrown parts, or are you going to cheap out and get cybernetics?
I think your organs are going to be the most expensive to replace, and I think we're going to regrow those with like stem cells and that sort of technology. But your arm is going to be steel.
All right, cool. At this point, you'll probably find out that Bryn is biologically a male.
Cool. What's your question?
All right. You're trying to make your way back to the mech bay. You see a large room. It's not like the other cabins you've seen. It's like a dining hall or something, and there's like a table with strange cubes on them. You might recognize them as memory cubes, like a kind of like journal that can record your very thoughts. But there is Pearson Maine, Bryn's swordsmanship tutor. And he's patrolling this room. You recognize him because he's a badass swordsman tutor, and he's been around, and you've probably not been able to afford lessons from this guy. But apparently somebody hired him as Bryn's private tutor.
Mm-hmm. I definitely know about him.
You can either fight him and kill him by cheaping out with a pistol, or you can fight him with the sword, lose, be forced to flee the room, but get to say that you fought Pearson Maine in single combat. Or you can submit.
Sash is on a really bad streak with sword fighting and really wants to win. I'm going to fight Pearson Main because I think back at Reading University, the only tutor for fencing I could afford was silver, which is not paying for anything at all.
All right. How many times has he knocked the sword out of your hand before you decided to run?
Oh, before I decide to run is a good question. So I feel like Sash's mech doesn't have a plasma cutter attached to it, so I have to like take one of the swords in the room, and it's a matter of like maybe 4 times before I decide this doesn't belong to me. I'm not getting anywhere with anything. I'm not even seeing improvement. I have to run at this point.
So I think the sword you get was like floating, like an anti-grav chamber.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like one of the finest swords you've ever seen. It's got, like chrome details and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you leave the sword behind, or do you take it with you?
I don't take it with me. Doesn't belong to me.
You just run, and the sword tutor is chasing you, and it's your turn to ask a question.
Excellent. All these questions I love so much. The painkillers the doctors gave you have been giving you wild dreams. Practice some deep consciousness techniques with Sash's father, Austin. Or re-experience the old stuck in the cockpit's interface nightmares. Or wake up.
Okay, I don't think Bryn is able to make conscious decisions. So if there's someone there like influencing her dreams, that seems pretty cool. So it's like a deep meditation therapy, like sleep.
Yeah, because this is
like lucid dreaming.
Yeah. Okay. Except extending also to like hallucinations you might get on painkillers. So like when you're half seeing reality, you get a little bit of help with that too, so that you can like cope.
Yeah, I think Bryn's totally tripping out. She's in this story that her mom told her about a young prince and a young princess who looked identical and decided to change places for a day, see what the other's life was like. And at one point, Bryn looks into a mirror and she's getting like deeper and deeper into her subconscious. And she's linked up psychically with the ship without the amulet. Sash can look behind her and see like on a screen Bryn and her unconscious face, like she's got her eyes closed and she's laying in a hospital bed. It's just like not staring at you, but like the face is there on a monitor behind you.
That's wild. And then Sash's dad is just at your bedside with like staring intensely into your eyes as you're like in the coma and trying to ground you.
Yeah. So as you're running down this corridor, you run into Navarre, who is the robot Bryn repaired. Do you kill Navarre because they've been reprogrammed into a soldier bot? Or do you kill Navarre because you just hate robots? Or do you submit?
I would like to say, one, because this game has gone on a little long, and two, because in Roll20 Presents Apocalypse World, Navarre was an absolute badass gun lugger.
Yeah.
And three, maybe because Sash doesn't have the same like hatred of cyborgs as other people. Sash has seen enough and submits here.
All right, cool. I think that just means it ends, right?
Yeah, I'm acceding.
What happens when it ends? It just ends. Cool. All right.
Mm-hmm. So I think that means that you get your side of the stakes, you get what you want.
I don't think that's a thing because you can actually target the stakes to remove them instead of a soldier.
Yeah. I remember saying that too.
I don't actually, the stakes aren't a thing. They're just, we're telegraphing to the other what we could lose if we decided our soldiers' lives were important to us.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I guess that's the same.
Yeah.
You didn't learn half of my secrets I had, really.
Yep. I want to know. I need to know where I end up though, because I'm doing the next game. Unless somebody wants to go ahead. And like, we should probably figure out what happens to both Bryn and Sash.
Let's see here. You probably get shortly imprisoned. And then you get returned to your mech and you get teleported back, I think. Yeah, you just like dumped back in real space. Because Bryn wakes up in a monitor and she starts flipping out. You see the anesthesiologist like put the gas mask on her face, and you get sent back to make sure she is okay, or else landowner's going to buy your house or something. You don't know. It's bad.
So I'm finally allowed to do the duty that I want to do, and then I come to visit you, bringing you the flower from your own apartment, putting it at your bedside.
All right, cool.
Cool. I don't want to do another game with Bryn right away. I do want to do a stealing time together with Bryn eventually, but I kind of want to do.
That was long. You guys have some fun.
I want to do a stealing time together with Ray because we have some unexplored tension there.
Yay. I have ideas for this.
Cool. Let me turn to.
Yeah, I also have to find the game.
Good. Yep. Yes. Yes, good.
Give me time to set up the cool things.
Ask them how you two can do stealing time together. I have an idea for this, and I'm open for you to veto it if you have a better idea.
Okay.
But what if it is Friday night after the concert where you're emceeing and we get stuck in a limo together, swarmed by fans?
Yes, please.
What do we notice about each other? What have we heard?
I look very tired.
I think we both look very tired.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you may notice this later, depending on how the stealing time goes. So you know what? I'll leave that. There's stuff you may discover should should things go a certain way.
Okay, cool.
But you also notice that Ray looks tired. Probably did not have the same sort of energy that you normally expect him to have during one of his shows. He still brought it, but you know Ray, so you know that that was not Ray's A game.
Yeah.
And also, you have probably heard that some Bantrish mechs have gone missing. What's up with that?
Yeah. Okay. So we're in this limo and there's everything's muted outside.
Whose limo do we think it is? Like, did you get into my limo or did I get into your limo? How did this go?
I think it might be mine because we've established that I have a limo that I use for my shows.
Okay.
So like you might have a different car that you normally use when it's your time, but we know that I have a limo. So
Okay.
this is probably the same one.
Okay, sure.
Yep. Last time I was in here, I was with Bryn, and now from that point it seems like I get the iron triangle. I either get you and myself, or I get Bryn and myself, but we can never make the cafe moment happen again. I feel like that was our one moment in history to all be together.
That's how life goes. You got anything to drink in here?
Yes, I do, and not horrible flask whiskey like last time. Um, Sash reaches behind uh, like a fridge and pulls out a bottle of white wine.
Casual up nod, like, yeah, okay, that'll work.
Mhm,
Like, an approving raise of the eyebrows.
mhm. I'm glad you didn't want something harder because I don't know that we have any in here. Sash starts taking out like flipping over wine glasses, pours you some really shakily, and then hands one to you.
Okay. Are you wearing your mask right now?
I am.
Okay. Hmm. I loosen your mask, may I?
Yes, please. I think that's like a fun gesture.
Okay. So I think I reach towards you. You think I'm going to take the wine, but your hands are full of wine, and instead I reach past and I loosen your mask and I take it off and I set it on the seat next to you.
Hmm.
And then I take the wine and I say, I don't get to see your face very often, do I?
No, you don't. Oh, ow! It hurts to my ears. To the volume sounds different.
Oh, is it loud? Oh, is it loud?
For for me with my own voice. I don't realize how loud I'm speaking until the mask is off.
I laugh.
Well, it muffles some of it.
And I suppose you want to project and take a drink.
Right, I do. And we're in a really small space together right now. I I touch your shoulder blade, kind of on the other side of your body that's more away from me. May I?
Um, you may. I mean, there's just a moment of like just that
Yeah,
kind of awkward, quiet energy.
yeah. I There's been so much that's going on. I have so much to talk to you about. Did you know that I was imprisoned?
No, you were imprisoned. What did you get up to this time? Break into another cafe?
You could say that. Um, more like Bryn's Cafe, but not Bryn's Cafe. Bryn's got a different cafe, and this cafe is you remember how I didn't make it out of
It's a members only cafe.
yeah, exactly. You remember how there was that accident at the Mech rally and my comms didn't come through?
Yes, it was all over the news. Said a lot of people got hurt.
I didn't get hurt, as you can see, but I got warped, and there was this fortress in warp space that belongs to Bryn that I've known about for a little while, but they didn't know who I was and got in prison for something that I didn't even want to do.
So I have a question for you out of character. Do
Sure.
you know that I'm a rebel? I assume not, but
I assume that you are a rebel, but I don't know how involved you are, is the thing.
okay. All right. I mean, I think that would be a fair assumption to make, but you don't know the details. Okay, that's fine.
Mhm.
I look interested, but you can tell I'm trying not to look interested. Like I'm trying to hide that from you.
Mhm.
And I start pressing you for more details. A warp signature? What kind of warp signature? What happened? You're okay, of course. That's what I'm concerned about.
The thing about warp signatures is that warp signatures connect 2 points. This, since it's right here, it doesn't connect to a second point at all. It doesn't count. It's illegal in the rules of warp signatures. You can start to tell that Sash is getting a little drunk because they're starting to have a lot of fun with extra dimensional physics.
Mhm.
So it's an unknown warp signature, and if you have a mobile frame that detects the warp signatures, it will get very confused.
Interesting. Um, I raised the privacy screen, may I?
Hmm. You may, but only for a moment. And during that, I withdraw to a less charged distance.
Okay, and then you put it back down, or is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want this to really turn into anything right now. I kind of more so want to talk about like things being complicated for the both of us and what your problems are. So that's probably
Okay.
when I let you raise the privacy screen, but only so that I can ask you um I get in close, may I,
You may.
for a whisper.
Mhm.
I ask you, um, do you ever think that you're in any danger? Because we're pretty close. We do a lot of things together. I would say that I care about you.
Well, what kind of danger do you mean?
You sound like you're hiding something, or that maybe you're in different kinds of danger. That's my guess. But what I mean is, do you ever feel like your life is threatened, or that you can't go out into public any more than any celebrity can. Like, when you look at me, do you feel like I have a degree of freedom that you don't?
I think we all have our secrets. I think we all have our agendas. Did you know that Peak Zenith throws my accounts?
Sazhu really like does a thing where they look around to decide which secrets they want to reveal. And they say, I doubt it was Peak Zenith and anything but the name. Because I know a person, and I don't like that person. And I think we have a mutual enemy. If you want to tell me more.
I look askance at like that open window. Like, I don't know how much I trust this driver. I don't know what they can hear.
Mhm.
I also get in close. May I?
You may. I was trying to find a better answer, but you may.
All right. I hesitate for a moment. Like, you can tell that I'm really weighing this. Not necessarily how much I trust you, but more just like trying to decide how much you need to know and what I need to tell you, um, versus things that I would prefer to remain hidden. And I lean in close and I say, well, neither one of us, I believe, are too fond of the martial law that has been put on this planet ever since the landowners came on. Can we agree on that?
We can absolutely agree on it.
Well, I'm certain you've heard the gossip about my my vlog, my Trid vlog. How I've said some critical things. Well, it's not just all words if you catch my meaning.
I picked up on that. Going back to whether you feel like you're in danger or not, because I really want to know. Do you feel like people are going to come after you for your vlogs?
Physical harm? I don't think it's gotten to that point yet.
Okay.
At least not for that. People might seek to harm me for other reasons. I was worried you were suggesting that your association with me would cause me danger, and I can't understand that.
No, that wasn't what I meant either.
Good, because I'd rather not end my association with you. And I touch your fingertips as I put my hand down on the chair, like on the seat next to yours, and my fingertips touch yours, may I?
Mm-hmm. You may, but first, I want to. But first, I want to hold you and like. I want to like give you a hug into my lap in this like embrace that kind of says like I'm trying to keep you safe
Oh, okay.
from like anything that causes you harm.
I don't mind. You can
Okay.
do that.
I don't think I don't know if you're like a hacker or anything like the stereotype,
I just laugh.
but um I start touching your hair. May I?
How are you touching my hair? How are
I'm
you
just like patting it like this.
like stroking my hair?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's fine. If you were like gonna mess it up, I was gonna have a problem with that because I'm very image focused.
Very fair. What was I going to say? I was going to say, oh yeah, I was talking about like the image of you as a hacker, and then I was going to be like, I think the revolutionaries and the Beatrice, because we're still around, turns out. That's a secret, by
It's
the
what
way.
I
You're
knew,
not supposed
by
to.
the way. But don't worry, I won't tell anyone else.
That's good. I think if we work together, we can. I don't know how I feel about Peak Zenith, the corporation. I know they own a lot of land shares, but I don't know whether they're the enemy or not. Have you ever heard of that controversy a while back where there was a lot of money embezzled out of Peak Zenith?
I did.
Well, I met one of the unarrested embezzlers face to face. They've been busy, let's just say, embezzling money, bulldozing Bantraphyle property, which now is owned by Peak Zenith, but we were expecting Peak Zenith to take care of it until we have enough money to buy it back from them.
I see. That's strange. For what reason?
I'm not sure.
Well, I don't disagree that we have a common enemy. May not be Peak Zenith. Maybe members inside or other shareholders, I don't know. But we do have a common enemy.
And regardless, I do want to get rid of Peak Zenith.
I mean, they frozen my account, so I'm not a big fan of them either right now. You know how hard it is to get a good whiskey when you don't have a credit card? I had to have my agent go buy it for me. It's such a hassle.
Oh man, I bet. Also, I'm not going to lie, I do have a vested interest. I don't want to go after Peak Zenith right away because Silver is still a part of them. And Silver is an old friend of mine.
Silver. Why does that name sound familiar? Silver. I feel like I've met a Silver.
Little meek girl with the hair like this, but shorter than yours.
Oh, right. She was at the party. She was at the party and she was just at an empty table. Oh, was it empty because everyone was no longer at the company? I bet it was empty because no one was at the company. Oh, that's got to be embarrassing, actually. I just start laughing. I think I have like the drunk giggles, so I'm just like laughing at that.
I feel bad for Silver right now. And at least until she's in a better position, or until Peak Zenith can get their act together. Did you see they send her over to have an argument with me that was posted all over social media?
Of course I saw that.
I'm glad I won the argument, but if I want to beat Silver at anything, it's actually because did you know that we also went to the same university? And she was my fencing tutor for a while. I could never beat her. I want to beat her at fencing, not at arguing. I'll take the arguing, though.
Mm.
It's not really what I want.
What do you want?
Not everything, but a little bit of everything. I can't decide what I want. I want silver. I want to protect Bryn. I think I want our relationship to be closer in whatever way you want that to take shape. I have time and I'm up for anything.
Let's see. I want to do an advance, but I gotta figure out which one I would do
Okay.
because I also don't want to scare you off. So
Sure
I
thing.
think there's a moment's pause because Ray's probably thinking like, okay, how can I reassure Sash that I'm also down? But I could also see when I started to make advances before Sash was like, okay, too fast. So what
Mhm.
is a good middle ground? I think I touch your hair because we've already kind of established that hair touching's okay. May
Yeah,
I? Okay.
you may.
Um, I think I touch your hair and I kind of like your hair's really wild and unkempt, and I kind of brush it out of your face a little bit.
Hmm.
Maybe so I can make better eye contact with you.
Right.
And I say, well, I hope you know that I want that too.
Well, it's already a closer relationship than we were before we started this conversation in the limousine. Because we know where each other stands,
Mm-hmm.
and that we have common interests more than we have interests that aren't in common.
A lot of common interests.
Since I'm not in the position of a revolutionary, I have to ask if I tried to pull my weight to increase the price of Bantraphyll by 3 times and tried to increase wages for the Bantraphyll miners who work all day in the trenches. Is that the right thing to do? Is that what I should focus on? Because I only have a limited time and I want to spend a lot of it with you.
My main concern, the whole reason I joined the cause, picked up the fight, is because I care deeply about the lives of our people. So anything that you can do to make their lives better, you should do it without question.
I guess I'll start there. I tell the driver to start driving us to your place, and we'll draw a curtain over that
Okay.
because I don't know if that's just dropping you off on the way to my place or
We can establish that later.
yeah, exactly.
That's fine.
Yeah. Perfect. That's my game.
Okay, that means I get to have a game with Silver. And whoever else would naturally be there can be there, but I'm inviting Silver to a conversation over food.
Ooh, a conversation over food. Oh, wait. Boop. There we are. Okay. All right.
How do we come to be eating together?
That's a very good question. I think I needed to seek you out for a Peak Zenith endorsement. Like, I'm looking for Ray's face to, like, sell our new product. Like, you can be the face of Bantraphyll selling Love&Bantraphyll across the universe.
Oh gosh. Yeah, this is gonna go well for you, I'm sure.
So we're at like a fancy upscale restaurant that's actually like at the bottom of the underwater city, so that you've got like this view of the like, I picture that there's like a reef at the bottom of the ocean floor that like this overlooks.
Oh, and like maybe there's like lots of bioluminescent plants.
Oh yeah,
and
exactly.
fish swimming around.
Totally. And so of course we're at the window, which is just all glassed over, so you can see all of this. And there's like nobody around us. We have like we're up on like a dais, and there's at least 2 tables, empty tables between us and any other diners, you know, that kind of thing.
Sure.
And what do we notice about each other? So you notice that Silver is she is dressed very smartly in a very snappy business suit. She has like a little pencil tie and looks absolutely on point peak zenith. But at the same time, she's still kind of small and mousy. But somehow, like in this uniform of business suit, it doesn't look out of place. It looks more like she's ready to spring something.
Okay. As far as what you notice or have heard about me, I think Ray has also dressed up for the occasion, not like too much because he's got an image to uphold. And I mean, he has to, right?
He has an image and it's not dressing well.
I mean, it's dressing to a certain aesthetic.
Right, but not like business.
No, so it's like I think you do get like well-fitted dark wash jeans rather than suit pants. A well-tailored blazer, and probably a very expensive designer t-shirt underneath that. So it's not super out of place, but it's definitely like rock star dressed up rather than business corporate dressed up.
Gotcha.
And his hair is probably like all slicked back as well.
Gotcha.
Like he looks professional. He's ready to. He also looks kind of pissed off at you, but you don't know why. Maybe. Like he just looks. He looks. Maybe you do know why, but he just looks vaguely like pissed off at you.
I think I do know why, because like I'm approaching you with this proposition, so I think she knows.
Okay, but
she wasn't
like
responsible for it, but so I think that Silver was already there at the restaurant and waiting for Ray to show up.
Okay, I think it's more like I was picturing. I've shown up, we've sat down, and when I sat down, you notice I'm like,
gotcha,
like pissed off at you type thing.
Okay,
but we can play out the sitting down part if you want. But that's
and I just picture like the scene comes up with like her already there, and but I mean we could just cut to us already there. It doesn't matter.
I don't care.
It really doesn't. Anyway,
you also may have heard about a Bantrash, a couple of Bantrash mechs getting stolen.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. And they're blaming the rebels, but who knows really what happens, you know?
I mean, I have no reason to suspect this famous rock star would be a rebel. Why would I think that? So yeah, I think maybe we cut in as the orders have already been placed. Or maybe this is the kind of restaurant where you don't even place orders, just like...
I think we don't even see the orders being placed at all. It's just like yeah.
It's one of those things. Anyway, sorry. I'm thinking way too much about logistics, and we need to think about this like a movie.
It's fine.
So, yeah. I think in this case, Ray has the lowest social standing.
Oh, yeah, totally.
So that means you take the first turn.
Great. I love how there's no option to just remain silent and angry.
I mean,
I will engage in improvised conversation. That's my improvised conversation.
Perfect.
Let's see. No, I think I am just kind of sitting there, and I don't want to talk to you, but I kind of had to because my agent told me I had to show up, and also I'm trying. You know what? I hope to get you to commit to unfreezing my accounts, can I? By being really pissed off and clearly unagreeable. And you know that if you don't unfreeze my accounts, I'm not going to do a damn thing you say.
Now, Ray, it's come to my attention that you're in some hot water with Peak Zenith's accountants, and, well, personally, I think you've got exactly what it takes to market Peak Zenith brand Bantraphyll across the entire galaxy. So, it may be within my power to get those accounts unfrozen for you, but better still, if you can entertain this little joint venture, I can assure you that you are going to be very well paid, regardless of the standing of your previous accounts.
Miss Silver, you didn't tell me your last name. Do you have a last name? I'm sorry, I don't want to be rude.
Childs.
Miss Childs. I already make a good deal of money with my tours and my concerts. I don't even understand why my accounts have been frozen. No one will tell me anything.
You know, actually, it's kind of strange. All of my research, I haven't been able to determine the cause either, which unfortunately has been making it rather difficult for me to unfreeze those funds. Now, I do have a few tricks that I can pull, but they're not going to be easy, and hold on, I know there's a thing here about this. Yeah, I'm about to accidentally spill the secret that like 90% of the Peak Zenith employees on Bantraphyll were fired for embezzling money. I'm gonna cover it up gracefully, but do you pick up on it anyway?
I think I do because I'm already kind of in the know because of the conversation I had with Sash. So it's more just like you're confirming something that I already knew. I think maybe if I hadn't known, because if Sash hadn't told me, then maybe I wouldn't have picked up on it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think she kind of redirects the conversation there, but so we can get you some new accounts, some new lines of credit, and some new, even better paying gigs. You'd be surprised at how much money you can make when your face is not just on billboards here on Bantraphyll, but everywhere. And I mean everywhere.
So I'm gonna make an ignorant social blunder. And I'm gonna very casually insult you, which is apparently a thing that Ray does.
Uh-huh.
Because this is not the first time I've chosen this in a conversation. But Ray says, I find that to be a very interesting proposition when you can't even seem to keep track of my accounts as they are. You have no idea why they've been frozen. And I I understand that there's been a bit of turmoil within the company. So honestly, I'm thinking about suggesting to my accountant that perhaps we find a different company. Do you let me recover gracefully, or do you hold that against me for just insulting your company?
Ooh. I think she's gonna let you recover here. Because it is, you're not wrong.
I'm not wrong, I'm just rude.
Yeah, exactly. You're not wrong, you're just rude. Exactly. So I think she just kind of swallows her pride for a second and nods and says, I wouldn't recommend that. Now, I can get you access to look, Ray, I'm gonna come clean with you here. You are not the only local celebrity who's found themselves with tight purse strings all of a sudden. This is part of why I was called here to Bantraphyll, and my mess to clean up. So, you'll pardon me if it's taking longer than you'd personally like. I'll be honest, it's taking longer than I would personally like as well. My new crew is less efficient than what I'm used to. None of them know the meaning of teamwork. And I am running myself ragged, checking and rechecking everyone's work. I almost feel like I would be better off just doing it all myself. But business is business, and I've seen you perform, and I know that teaming up with Peak Zenith would do wonders for your reputation and for ours. I want you to commit to being a face for Peak Zenith.
Unfortunately, you can't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't dismiss it outright, but you don't get that commitment here right now.
That's fair.
I also hope you don't bring up how critical I've been of your company and other landowners on Bantraphyll in my vlog. Do you?
Ooh. No, I think I have to. I think I kind of follow up with, of course, if we were to enter into a partnership, your social media posts would need to be vetted by our legal and PR teams. It seems you've been saying some rather incendiary things. And, well, to be honest, if you were to change your mind about Peak Zenith, then I think that will change a lot of people's impressions of our company, and that is very, very valuable.
Well, don't you think you're going to have to do something to get me to change my mind? So far, I have frozen accounts, offers, empty promises. What has Peak Zenith done for me lately? Why have I gone Irish?
When you're drunk, you go Irish.
What has peak zenith done for me lately?
Fine. I slide a piece of paper across the table. Give me a number. I can get you your funds. Like I said, unfreezing your current accounts is tricky, but getting you access to equal funds is much simpler.
I slide the paper back, but it doesn't seem like a rejection. It's more, as I'm sliding it back, I say, I'm going to need to talk with my accountants, my agent, get back to you. Give me your contact information instead.
I nod and I write down Silver Child's and a, comm number.
Okay.
And I'll push it back across.
I will fold that and put it in my jacket pocket.
I'm feeling expansive. What do you want to know about me?
Why did they pick you? Of all the people they could have brought here to clean up this mess, why did they pick you? That's what I want to know. And I think I probably ask that as I'm putting that in my pocket, because you don't seem like I'm like you don't seem. Why am I doing Irish again? Hold on. You don't really seem like the type to clean up other people's messes. I mean, no offense meant. I'm sorry.
Cleaning up other people's messes is all I've ever done. I'm not really one to get into trouble, but I definitely know how to get out of it. I'm very good at seeing patterns, and unfortunately, not everyone is very good at listening to me when I tell them what's wrong and how to fix it. I was really hoping that this posting here would give me the power that I needed to make the changes that Peak Zenith needs.
I laugh a little, and I'm gonna make improvised conversation here.
Mm-hmm.
And I say, well, again, apologies for being blunt, but you don't exactly have a commanding air. It doesn't surprise me that people don't listen to you, because you're so soft-spoken. You have to understand where I'm at. Everything is about image. It's about presentation. It's about projecting that authority, that magnetism. I'm not saying you don't have it. I'm saying you're not projecting it. You're like this. You need to be like this.
I'm not sure how to do that.
It's not easy for some people. Some people gotta learn it. It's possible. Try lowering your voice. Speak down in here. Speak with authority like this. Try it. Say it with me now. Say, I want you to listen to me.
I want you to listen to me.
No, lower. Drop it down.
I want you to listen to me.
Alright, this is going to take a lot of work, but I want you to practice in the mirror. I want you to draw yourself up, square your shoulders, look them dead in the eye, and say, you're going to listen to me.
You're going to listen to me.
It's better, at least. You have to make them believe that you know what you know. You can't just know it. Knowing it is only half the battle. Convincing others is the other half.
I don't understand. Why won't... If if I know something, why can't people just realize it?
Because people are self-important, self-involved, self-absorbed. They think they always know what's best. They think that they're the better ones. You have to convince them otherwise. You have to convince them that you're more important, you're better, you know more than they do. That's what I do every day.
But aren't you those things?
No, I'm not. I'm just very good at pretending. I failed out of college. I learned how to play the guitar. I do play it pretty well. I sing pretty well. But it's all showmanship. I think business is like that too. It's partly what you know, what you can bring, and the rest is all theater.
I see. I never really considered business and theater having any type of overlap at all.
I think it depends on where you are. If you're down in the dregs where you're just crunching numbers and not really dealing with people, it doesn't really matter. But once you bring in that social element,
you notice she takes off her ring,
okay.
the Peak Zenith ring. And she does this both deliberately, like, above the table, you can see it.
Mm-hmm.
And then she, like, pockets it. And she puts her hand across the table and she says, I'm asking you this, not as a representative of Peak Zenith, but as a person. Could you teach me?
Well, what the hell? I'll try anything once. I'll give it a try.
I would like to cut to my scene as stealing time together with you.
Okay.
Like, from here, we, like, do a cut to where these lessons are taking place.
Man, 2 stealing time together in one episode.
We haven't had enough of them. I think it's a good choice.
Agreed.
So
I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm always down to steal time with any of you cuties.
where do these lessons take place at?
If it's gotta be someplace private, because I feel like we're doing them in secret.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right, yeah.
My initial thought was like hotel room, like Holiday Inn style, 2 beds.
So, like, it's not even upscale hotel room. This is
it's like you're keeping it on the DL.
Okay, so
I go in wearing a beanie so no one recognizes me inside.
Oh yeah, and she's definitely wearing, like, that sundress from the first episode that is not appropriate for the season or really Bantraphyll at all. It's
and certainly not Skyphos.
certainly not Skyphos. So it looks a little bit out of place, but more like touristy out of place rather than Peak Zenith representative slumming it out of place.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah. Okay.
I think we can skip the what do you notice about each other, what have you heard, because like literally nothing.
we just did that.
Yeah.
You're wearing a beanie.
Well, I mean, I was coming in, and then once I'm in the room and curtains are drawn, then I take it off because my hair is important. I'm not going to have hat hair.
You spent like a minute combing it.
Yeah, like I floof it and fix it.
All right. Where do we start?
That is a good question. All right. You know what? There's a mirror in the bathroom. Let's start there. Actually, no, there's a mirror in the closet. That'll give us more room. We won't be in the bathroom. I open the closet and like there's a mirror on the other side of the door or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I touch your shoulders because I want to like just square you up in front of the mirror. May I?
You may.
And I like kind of push them down because like maybe you're kind of like doing like this little mousy thing. And I'm just like trying to square you up properly. And I say, make eye contact with yourself in the mirror.
I look at you in the mirror instead.
With yourself. Look at your own eyes. What do you see?
My own eyes. They're eyes, I guess. Okay. I'm gonna try this. And this is not exactly on the list, but
that's fine.
It's
it's
the I touch your blank. As I square up, like my back pushes against your chest. May I?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so as she's squaring up, she like decidedly is like almost using Ray as like a brace.
Sure. Yeah, that's fine.
All right. What's next?
Chin up. Stand tall. Like you're... Imagine like you're holding up the ceiling with the top of your head. Not top of your head, not your full head, dear. I touch your head. May I?
Yeah, yeah.
I tilt your head a bit down and I like try to square you up so you're like just tall.
Okay. Okay. I'm tall.
You are tall.
And like I'm pressing up against you and like still like my shoulder blades are still like in the middle of your chest.
Yeah.
Because I'm really short.
Now, I want you to look at yourself in the mirror and just with your eyes, I want you to tell yourself, I command attention.
I don't know how to say that with my eyes.
Let me see your most serious face then. Okay, imagine you're telling me what I need to do. Imagine I work for you. Imagine I'm one of your colleagues or your underlings or whatever you call them. Employees, is that the word? I don't know. Imagine I work for you and I need to do some business thing. I clearly know a lot about this. I need to do some business thing and you need to tell me what to do. Put on your most serious face and pretend you are telling me that I have to do that.
All right. Ray, I need reports 1532 by 2 o'clock today. Results are going to be monumental for our investigation.
Now I want you to say it again, and I want you to say it more firmly. Imagine I'm not listening to you. Then what would you do to get my attention?
Send an email?
No.
No?
I could just ignore your email.
Well, okay. Ray, I need Form 52B by tonight.
It's better. It's better, but don't frame it about you. Frame it about me. This is what I need to do. If I were talking to you, I would say, no, I'm gonna call you Silver for this. Is that all right?
All right.
Silver, you need to get Form 52B by 7 o'clock sharp.
Okay.
Do you understand?
I think I see the difference. I'm gonna try again, okay?
Try again.
Ray, you need to submit Form 52B by 7 o'clock.
Sharp.
Sharp. And, like, she looks up and is, like, her face is pressed against his chest. May I?
Yes, you may.
So she looks up at him. Was that better?
That was much better.
Okay. Okay.
I think a change in language will help you. Don't speak about what you need. Just tell people what they need to do. When I talk to my agent, I don't say, "Oh, if it doesn't trouble you too much, could you please, send that file over to my accountant?" I say, no. I say, "Jeremy, why the fuck haven't you sent that file to my accountant? He was supposed to have it by yesterday morning."
Well, I don't think I could curse like that.
Well, then don't curse, but I hope you at least get the idea.
So she turns around.
As you turn around, I think I'm saying you have certain expectations, and your employees should be meeting them.
That's true. And so she's now like facing him directly.
Mm-hmm.
And so I place my hand on your shoulder. May I?
You may, but only for a moment. I kind of look at your hand on my shoulder, like, what's that about?
And she looks directly, like, up at him, and she says, "Ray, you need to sign this contract with Peak Zenith."
Oh, that's cute. That's very cute. I appreciate what you're doing, but no. I'm going to talk it over with my accountant and my agent, and I have your contact information, so I will at least consider it.
Can we do this again?
If you think it'll help.
I think it might.
Well, if you'll forgive me for saying so, I think you need the help. And I just kind of ruffle your hair a little. May I?
You may. I really appreciate what you've done tonight, Ray. And I honestly do hope that you join us for this endeavor. But I don't think I can change your mind. And that makes me sad.
Why does it make you sad?
Well, you've been really nice to me. And the only resources that I have to repay you for that belong to Peak Zenith.
Well, you don't belong to Peak Zenith. Not that I'm suggesting anything untoward. Sorry. Let me say that again. I'm not looking for you to throw your weight around, pull strings for me. Unless you can get my accounts unfrozen, that would be perfect, but I don't expect that at this point, so we'll just work with what we have. But you can be nice to me back. You don't have to give me contracts or whatever. You just be a person. Be nice. That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Well, that's part of why I like this little moment. It's been a while since I've been able to be a person and not whatever Peak Zenith needs me to be at the moment.
When's your next day off? You get days off? You take a day off?
Yes, yeah, I do. It's Tuesday.
Maybe not that one. I'll be in touch. We'll dress down, go all incognito. We'll do people things. I think we both could use a day where we're just people and not agents of some sort of corporation or identity or brand. You know what I mean?
I'd really like that. I'd really like that.
Okay, and I think that's a good place to fade, especially because
It
we're
is.
on the hour mark.
It is. It's time. That was really good. We're gonna do our wrap up. Questions. Questions. Bloop. So, oh boy.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff happened here today.
Yeah, lots of stuff happened.
I want to know what does Bryn think about what happened? Like, I want to know, like, her reactions to what's happened to her throughout the course of this episode and her secret lab, and like I want to know what she thinks about all of that.
Yeah, you guys didn't find all my secrets. I'm sad.
Yeah.
There will be
There's
plenty
time.
of opportunities.
There's time for all the secrets. I want to know, is this a love triangle? Am I in a love triangle now? Is that what this is?
Think bigger.
I mean, is it a love parallelogram? Is it a love kite? What is going on?
Love.
So love amoeba? The amoeba eats you, and then you're in love with whoever else is inside the amoeba?
That sounds right, actually.
That's how life works.
You know what? I have another question. Am I going to be able to convince Sash and Silver to like both at the same time? Not like go out, like hang out at the same time. Can I like mend that relationship, and also can like we all just like date?
That's a good question. That's a real good question.
You stole my question because my question was going to be, I want, because we've like touched on, like the two games where Sash and Silver have played together have been either the duel 8 years ago or the confrontation where she got sent by Peak Zenith to face me in verbal combat. I want to see if we can ignite the flame of... I was about to make a Homestuck reference. I'm not going to make a Homestuck reference.
I feel ya.
Yeah, and I want to see if we can get a good rivalry going.
Okay.
I want to see who makes Bryn pay for something first.
Do you
But I also
mean
want to see.
monetarily or
Yes.
metaphorically?
No, already she's paying things metaphorically because she's technically fighting for the Bantrush. But yeah, so monetarily.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Also, I'm just waiting for you guys to kiss. Like,
Well, I kind of got shut down in the limo, so.
Mm.
You shut down yourself.
Wow. Wow.
We'll get to that. Well, thank you everyone for coming out. Let's do some real quick shout outs before we wrap. Starting with right below me is Staney.
Hi, I'm Staney when I am not trying to kiss all of the ladies here on Love and Bantraphyll, or, gender non-conforming people as well. I am also on my own Twitch channel where I stream variety games and art, and I also have a Patreon. Basically, just Google Estani. You'll find me on all the places.
She also did all of the art for these overlays. Thank you so much.
I did. It was super fun.
Ken over to Lavender.
Hi, I'm Lavender, and apart from my departure from the Twitter ban today to tell people on Twitter about this game, I am staying away from Twitter until I can finish my game, Consumed, which is about being consumed as a reality TV show by Eldritch Horrors in Twitch chat. It's a wild game. It's been a wild ride designing it for these 3 years, but I have to finish it strong and make the best role-playing game that's ever existed.
I am looking forward to it.
Me too.
And last but not least, Golden.
hey, I'm Golden H. So, as the straight guy, it's like, I can't talk with authority about being queer, but I have a lot to say about finding yourself. So, hopefully, the rest of the cast here will teach me something about that as well. When we're not getting super serious and emotional, you can find me on twitch.tv/GoldenWH, where mostly I just blow things up. It feels good.
It does feel pretty good.
Feels pretty good.
All right. Well, I'm Kelsa. This is my channel. Thank you so much for coming out. You can find me on Twitch and YouTube, kelsa.delphi. There's no dot. Kels Delphi. It's all Kels Delphi. On Twitter, it's just Kelsa. You can find the link to my Twitch and YouTube there. It's probably easier because I the words blah. Check doobly doo. I'm gonna throw on our outro song, and I hope y'all have a good night.